wanted to share something with y'all. Last September, I had my blood workup done after I did a 6-day fast because I thought, okay, I'm just going to see if I can do this. But anyway, in March, so my cholesterol is always high, but I will not take any pharmaceuticals. So it was 291. 291. Still thinking I'm eating healthy. So when I started this whole thing in February, I had it well, at February in March, 4 weeks into this, my cholesterol went from 291 to 226.
Wow.
Oh, but that's not the good news. Well, I had the test done, waited 3 months because I want to get my thyroid checked and everything else. The other day I got the results back, 200. It's gone down 91 points because of the food that I'm eating. And I'm like, so even though my weight loss, it's slow and steady, and I really want that, it's like I was excited when it went to the 226, 200. And
Wow.
yeah, my other numbers and my triglyceride and everything. So, even though the weight may not be there, I'm getting stronger. And those numbers, I'm like, yes, I thought, oh no, diet won't change it. It's just the hereditary factor. So that aspect of, yes, hereditary, maybe 25%, it's your lifestyle and what you eat. And I'm proof of it. I'm like, yes, wait till I tell these other doctors. 200. And I have so much energy and I'm never fatigued. And I'm like, check, 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 check. I don't have any gut issues. And just a torn rotator cuff, but I'm working around that and just like, yeah, I meditate every morning. I'm there with Diane or sitting out here with it. It's like, it's everything. So when one thing is not as going as well, like the weight loss, and I'm stronger and I feel fitter. And I'm like, I want to be the best fit person I can be. I'm 65 and I don't feel like I'm 65.
Not at all.
So anybody else there listening, I'm like, don't let one area, a number on a scale define everything. When you see blood work up and periodically every 3-6 months, whatever, get it taken, it's like, yes, it's paying off. So I just wanted to share that because I was so excited.
That's amazing, Cathy. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And, your pictures look amazing. And I was going to say your arms today on lecture look really strong too.
Well, thank you. Because I've tried to do my things and I know how now to work around my torn rotator cuff issue. And I go to physical therapy. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do that. So think of what you can do instead of what you can't. It's attitude.
Yes. And Christy, who just joined, said you look amazing and your energy too. Congratulations.
Thank you all. But I'm behind everybody. There's a great support here. You can do this. Everyone's wonderful. Great ideas. So it's a journey and a lifestyle. So it's not like, oh, I finally reached something. It's like, I really enjoy this.
Love it. 100%. And that's when it becomes easier to eat what you're trying to eat when you feel good too, because then you start to crave it because you know that feeling after. Mm-hmm. And I do want to, since you're here, I'll ask, can you share what the biggest changes with your food that you've made?
I think, well, I never knew when I first saw online this, you talking, and I'm like, I've been active in my life, but I just couldn't lose the weight no matter what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Because it's not working. I thought, eat less, you'll lose more. No, my body just wouldn't let go of it. So I'm like, I'm investing in myself. I'm retired now. I want to be fit and strong. And I was always okay, but the weight would never go. So actually seeing, okay, not realizing how important protein is and how satiating when you get it. I mean, I put it the other day, my breakfast and what I usually have around 10, it may be around 600 calories. But oh my God, I just love my 2 eggs, my 3 egg whites, my pumpkin seeds. But knowing what I need so much of this, and Katie's saying, okay, these are things that you can try. And then that's my main meal. Like I'm a little late today, but here I am with my yogurt, my chia seed, my
Hmm.
raspberries. I take this with me when I'm in Houston. I'm like, okay, wherever I am, and then I'll have something lighter because I've had most of my calories earlier in the day. But I'm never hungry. And I got so much energy. And it was realizing like, okay, there's protein. Oh, I need more protein. I had no concept of how much I had, how much more I needed, so including the protein, I don't crave sweets. I don't, and I could live on bread alone, but now I switched it to my only, sourdough bread that I make. So it's not, I don't feel deprived at all. It's energizing, it feels good, and I just like, oh, I never tried tofu before. It's like, wow, this really is, I gave it a reputation. Now, I won't eat spinach for a long time because I overdid it because more isn't always better. So I can't handle the spinach, but I'll have my field greens and I'll have try different fruits and vegetables that I've never had. And so it's
I
just a
love it.
combination of everything.
Ah, were you eating a lot of red meat before?
I've never been a big red meat eater. I
Mm.
like a nice steak once in a while.
Hmm.
I've never been vegan, but I want animals to be treated right. And I don't know. I thought I could live on bread because I love bread, but I don't crave it now. It's a treat, As
Mm.
Erica said, I cut back because now that my carbs are down to 110, my calories and everything, because I wanted to lose so much before I leave in 10 days.
Yeah,
I don't know how that's going to be. And yeah, I'm up a couple pounds today, but I'm not freaking out about it and beating
good.
myself up. So I still have a ways where I want to go. And when I had my blood work up and I did a in-body thing and, the whole visceral fat. Well, I asked the nurse practitioner and she says, you're at a 7. We want people under a 10. And I went, oh, okay, good. Good. I'm glad that I've lost, but I would need to lose like 7 pounds. And that's what's hard because I'm not far away
Yeah,
from where I want to be. So just getting stronger and lifting more weights and just,
that's it. Wednesday, welcome to lecture. We have Julie, Nina, Diane. We have Janice who just joined here. Okay. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of balance and how to kind of navigate before we go into symptom mapping, symptom groups, and some tips to reduce our symptoms. All right. It's funny we're talking about bears. I put this to Smokey. Only you can prevent falling off. So let's go right here, actually. So if you have a social outing, whether it's a lunch or a dinner, this is what I suggest. So for breakfast, do something light where you're kind of reducing the fats that you usually have and the carbs that you usually have. So if you usually have smoothie with more fat and fruit, just take out the majority of the fruit and just leave the protein powder, flax or chia seeds, almond or soy milk or whatever you use. And then you can add in some frozen veggies like frozen cauliflower to bulk it and do a half a cup of frozen blueberries and then make that your smoothie. And if you're doing this and you have a big meal that you're planning, it's okay to feel a little bit hungry throughout the day. Then what I suggest for lunch is to do a lean protein and a salad. Having lots of veggies can fill you up. Then for snack, you can have edamame. That's great for reducing hot flashes and night sweats. Some more veggies. And then when you go out for your meal, try to portion control it as best as you can. And then if you're having dessert or drinks, it's okay because you've kind of set yourself up for that wiggle room. So that's what I can suggest. Again, it's not something where you have to do it every day. It's just these times where we are going to be social. And if we still want to stick to our goal, we have to just make a little bit of sacrificing. Exactly. No, I love it. Okay, we're going to continue. And yes, Christy in the chat said she just joined. She literally just joined, so she didn't even do her onboarding call yet. And She's hoping to stop being afraid every meal is making her fatter. You are in the right place, Christy. You're going to do amazing.
Yes.
Okay. So switching gears a little bit into symptom mapping, and this might not be relevant for everyone, but it definitely is just something to remind you to observe and take note of and see if you can create some patterns. So essentially all 44 and up, 44 is the minimum number of menopause symptoms, but they're so unique. We can really bucket them into a few different categories. And this is what I was talking about in the post that I made when I was on my way to Moab. So essentially, when we lose estrogen, we have these downstream effects of inflammation rising, of cortisol rising, and I bucketed in stress and sleep with that because we become less resilient to stress. Gut issues, and then blood sugar, which is insulin resistance, loss of muscle mass. I bucket that together. And then some symptoms are honestly, just due to lowered estrogen. And, some things like when you have a lot of vaginal dryness, you can be eating foods that have high water content or anti-inflammatory, but at the end of the day, for something like that, getting a topical estrogen cream is a great alternative. So there are some things where, going on some form of HRT can help, but there are a lot of things that you can group and map together and really work as much as you can with what you can control in your diet and your day-to-day to feel a lot better. So moving into the first one. So with inflammation, some common symptoms are joint pain, aches and pains, hot flashes, night sweats, brain fog, and even some itchy skin can be a little bit of inflammation. So if you're having, hot flashes, brain fog, and some frozen shoulder, and you have all three of them, then that most likely will point to inflammation being high and something that you can work on. So if we look in your food log, if you have very little produce, very little omega-3 foods, if you have your alcohol, you have your ultra-processed foods, and you have few healthy fats, and hydration is a little bit lower, then that can kind of further clue you in that inflammation is something that we can work on. And that's something that your coach will look for in your food logs too. So what you can kind of do is start to incorporate your omega-3 foods, your vitamin E foods, have at least 5 servings of just colorful produce, cook with extra virgin olive oil if you're cooking with oil, have some anti-inflammatory spices like ginger, turmeric, black pepper, and lots of water. So simple swaps can go a very long way when we're talking about symptoms. Okay. Next one is going to be cortisol. So if you're having brain fog, if you're feeling overwhelmed, low energy, especially that 3 p.m. crash, you're sleeping poorly and you have the belly fat, then those patterns can point to cortisol. Then some things that your coach will look for is having coffee before breakfast, which we're all guilty of. And it's not one of these things causing it. It's kind of just the habits and what we're doing consistently. Going long stretches without eating or skipping meals, having low calories for a prolonged period of time, just having protein at dinner, having lots of coffee throughout the day and no water, then probably cortisol is something to work on. And what you can do is reset your circadian rhythm, where in the morning, get sunlight or a sun lamp if there's no sun by you, a protein-rich breakfast, make your meals as balanced as possible. Don't just, I know I was just telling you to fast if you have a social outing, essentially, but try to have protein, fats, carbs, veggies, walk, schedule breaks for yourself, breath work, strength training, hydration, and eat on a consistent time. Okay, insulin resistance. So one of the clues too is if your A1C is suddenly higher, that is 100% just a downstream effect of losing that protective estrogen. So if you have afternoon crashes, sugar cravings, you get hungry quickly, difficulty losing weight, constant snacking, and you're skipping breakfast, your protein's too low, you're having carbs by themselves, low fiber, low veggies, then insulin resistance could be something to work on. And then things that you can do inside of your day-to-day is eat your protein first, have fiber at every single meal, have the right food combinations where you have your protein, where you have your starchy carb, your veggies. What we were talking about before, go for a 10-minute walk after you eat or do 10 squats and eat at consistent times. So, gut health. This is pretty self-explanatory, but if you have bloating, constipation, gas, reflux, any discomfort, and you're having, very low fiber, not a lot of water, minimal fruits, vegetables, you're not having different types of plants, you have a lot of protein bar supplements, if you have very large dinners or large meals, and also if you have a history of IBS, you have a history of SIBO, if you have a history of disordered eating, or if you've done a lot of restrictive diets that's taken out the carbs or the fiber or the legumes from your diet, then what you're going to want to do is slowly increase your fiber. So essentially, when you've eliminated foods, it's almost like, and I heard this from Dr. Will Bolshwitz, who is a world-renowned gastroenterologist, who said, when you do an elimination diet, it's like having your arm in a cast when you break your arm. And when you take your cast off, it's not like you're going to never use your arm again. You have to rehab your arm. You have to do exercises. You have to strengthen it. So after you do your elimination diet and you've taken out a lot of fiber, you have to slowly add it back in. Just a few new fiber-rich foods per week, and then you're going to build that gut microbiome. So building back that fiber, increasing your water intake, going for walks after meals, chewing slowly, having whole foods. So a lot of times women will come in and they're all just like protein focused, which is great. But if you end up overdoing it with protein powder and you've never had protein powder before, or different types of processed protein, then that can really take a toll. And another thing too is looking at the composition of your meals, sometimes having a ton of vegetables that are raw in one sitting will make you very uncomfortable, especially if you've never had it before. Having a lot of food in one sitting can make it very uncomfortable. So smaller meals can be really helpful. And get to that point where you're having different types of vegetables and plants, having that diversity in your diet. And you don't have to just put it all in there at once, slowly add it in. Okay, so summing all up, a lot of the symptoms overlap, especially brain fog for one, because that could be inflammation. It could be you're not sleeping. It could be cortisol. It could be blood sugar. So just start to look for patterns. What is up, you guys? Happy